If there's one thing on this planet more complicated and challenging than tubeless tyres, it is buying or choosing off-road tubeless tyres. You've got compounds, you've got widths, you've got tread types, all sorts. It is blowing my mind coming from being a roadie and now being a graveler. Now, over the last few weeks, I've been searching for the perfect gravel winter cycling tyre for my partner Liz to use on her Canyon Grizzle, and I think I found them. Now, I say think, I know that I found them because these are the ones that are going on the wheels, so they've got to be perfect, because if there's any better ones out there, I ain't buying them anyway. The sort of riding we do around near us is very good trail, a light trail I'd describe it as, but as we're going into British winter, there's quite a bit of mud. It's not throughout, there's quite a lot of good trails still, but you come across these odd sticky sections where the mud is quite deep. Liz has been using the Specialized Pathfinder Pro in a 42 all year, which as you can see is like a solid tread down the center of the tire, a little bit of grip on the outside, and 42mm in width. They're fine, and the reason she's run those is because that's what came on the wheels on the bike that she got, and I didn't want to swap them. And this is what I use normally, the Schwalbe Thunderbird in a 2.1. Now, our bikes will take a 2.1, so my first reaction was, I'm going to get her on some mountain bike tyres, she'll love that. The reality is that she's not doing anything really bumpy, she's not bothered about rolling resistance or anything like that, so I don't need to put her on a big chunky tyre. And as we go into the winter months, the Grizzles have good tyre clearance, but it's not great. With a 2.1 on, it is like slim. So if we're going to be going through some mud, a narrower tyre is going to give her a bit more tyre clearance. So that was the task, that was the brief. I then set about looking for them. Now, when you're looking for tyres, there's many things to consider, as I already mentioned. So width, tread, rolling resistance, all that sort of stuff. So these 42mm Pathfinder Pros measure 44.2mm, so they're already a little bit wider. The main thing I'm looking at is tread and compound. Going into winter, you don't want to be stood at the side of the trail fixing a puncture if you can help it. And one of the most important measures for that is tyre volume is important for tubeless tyres, sealing punctures and all that, but the actual stopping punctures going in them is the threads per inch count. So the threads per inch count of this tyre is 120, and the higher the number, the more supple and therefore the more fragile the tyre is. So I wanted a tyre that had a lower threads per inch count than 120, hence the WTB Radler something light fast rolling in a 44 came along. Now, although those words light fast rolling are stuck on the side of a tyre, as you know, that isn't always the case. These have a TPI rating of 60, which means that there are 60 threads per inch. Therefore, the tyre is less supple, less flexible, more puncture resistant, tougher for things rolling in them. So they were the first choice in that regard. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this is a comparison of the treads as well. So you see the Pathfinder Pro, solid bit down the centre, great for a little bit of road riding for light trail, but the WTB's a bit more chunky throughout. The file tread in the middle is quite chunky, some real big knobs on the side for mud clearance, and the real big knob in the middle of these two tyres. I think these are going to be night and day difference in terms of grip. When we've been riding the last few weeks, when we've gone through some mud, Liz has been a bit like, whoa, like this is a bit slippy, and it's noticeably slippy, so hoping this will give her some confidence in the off-road. They're only 2mm wider than the previous tyres, but I'm interested to see what these actually measure out at. The other big factor for these, to be honest, was price. Filtering by price low to high is a new concept to me when looking for tyres, but when I'm not riding them myself, you know, my criteria is slightly different. Now these, so I read, are actually still a decent package, but they were £60 for the pair with 500ml of sealant, which is PT's whole shot. It's got some sort of lumps in it, so I don't really know how good that is, but that's what she'll be using because that's what they've sent. And yeah, £60 for a pair of tyres. Obviously a few years ago I know that would have been extortionate, but nowadays that's about as good as we can hope for. And compared to other brands, you're looking at, you know, this is roughly half the price of other things I was looking at. And I wouldn't be a YouTuber unless I was weaving in some sort of advert, but the partners on this channel help me deliver content on this channel. My partner Sport and Leisure are launching their Black Friday sale today when this video goes out. If you use my code in the description, you'll get free next day delivery on any order you place on there, so hopefully that helps you out if you're like me and you're ordering things last minute. And I'm fitting these tyres for Liz's ride tomorrow. I didn't get these from Sport and Leisure, but they do have some other tyres available as well, so please do consider them if you're looking at any sort of bike or outdoor related stuff. This is what I find, that there's no sealant in them and then it's been like dry for months, but let's have a look. So I'm not going to make you sit through a tubeless tyre how-to tutorial. I might do one of those separately another day. But a big factor for me, and you know, is a tyre actually useful or not, is how difficult is it to take off and put back on? If you're doing this quite a bit, or swapping tyres in the seasons, or you know, I don't know, if you're just somebody who swaps tyres based on what terrain you're riding, it's really hard to get off and on. It is a pain. I think a lot of it comes down to the wheel rather than the tyre, but I've definitely had different experiences with tyres. So one tyre lever, can we get it off? And there's already sealant spitting out everywhere, so that's a good sign. That shows me that I haven't let the sealant go too long. Oh, it wouldn't be a video without some blood, would it? Oh. So it turns out there's plenty of sealant left in this one. I'm just going to go and rinse this out. Be right back. That tyre is actually in really good condition, lots of wear left in it, and not a single puncture on it as well, so that can go away to be used again next summer. I don't actually know the specs of these wheels. These are Reynolds all-terrain somethings. 23mm internal. That is not wide enough. And 32mm external, so I'm surprised those tyres are blown up a bit bigger with those being so narrow really for today's standards. But let's get the new tyre on and see what it comes up like. That's not worked. Right, come on. This is the one. This is the one. No. I mean, this is why people hate tubeless, isn't it? It's just messy, it's never straightforward. I do find once off-road tyres are set up, they're easier to maintain. Once you've had it sat on that bead once, like, you're hardly ever having to break it fully. This isn't fully sat on the bead yet, but my little battery thing's just run out, so it's just on charge a minute. It's there or thereabouts. I've got about 18 PSI in it, and it's sort of semi-holding pressure, so I'm hoping this thing charges in the next minute or two. And yeah, that's okay, it's seated, but that's not a, you know, well, it is an average at-home mechanic thing, but clearly I'm struggling, so it's above my pay grade. Oh man, so as soon as I got some decent pressure in it, it has seated properly, but the problem is now you've got to leave it overnight, you've got to jump it around a bit and hope that it doesn't go flat. Very often after the first ride it'll be fine, but you know, it's just one of those things with tubeless tyres. What does it measure up at? Let's have a look. So it should be 2mm bigger than the old ones. And that is interesting. That actually measures smaller. That measures 41.1mm. And that's the other thing with buying off-road tyres. You just never quite know what they're going to actually measure up at. So the 42s measure 44 and the 44s measure 41. Make that make sense. I'll test that again just to be sure. Yep, that is the case. So it's just a case of between manufacturers, sizing is slightly different, and yeah, on the same wheels, these bigger tyres measure smaller than the old ones, but are smaller. This is interesting. There are leaks coming through the sidewall. Right, I'm just going to hope that they seal up. Maybe the tyre's slightly porous, I don't really know. Why would there be sealant going seeping through the sidewalls? Oh, I don't need any more stress with this damn bike. But there we go though, have a look at the tread pattern. That looks like it'll deal with some light mud really well, doesn't it? And still roll relatively fast on the harder pack stuff because the far tread in the middle. Hoping these will serve Liz well over the winter months. I'm hoping that I get up tomorrow and these aren't, you see there, at the top there, look at that seeping through the sidewall. You see that? So if I wipe it, then we'll, there, it's coming back, isn't it? I know I've got another one to do, but we're going to end that video there. If you have found the perfect gravel tyre for you, let me know in the comment section down below what it is and why you've picked it. And I'll probably see you the same time next week for a why I'm changing these gravel tyre videos if they don't stay up. Let's see.